19 years old, what a waste of a life. Those are the words told to me by someone during a particularly challenging time in my life. Now, to be fair, I had made a lot of bad decisions. I had hurt a lot of people. But one aspect that this statement or anything like it doesn't take into consideration is what our memory verse says, the heart of it, in 2 Corinthians 5:21, that says this: God made him, that's Christ, who knew no sin, to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God. Now, in some ways, the sentiment that this person conveyed to me may not be all that different than the sentiment we have conveyed, we've had conveyed to ourselves, that we have conveyed to others, or maybe others have conveyed to us. Right? We tend to define ourselves in the moment by our latest failure, mistake, or ways that we're not measuring up. Perhaps we compare ourselves to others, we feel awful, and then we begin to define ourselves by our shortcomings. Now this verse, it stops us dead in our tracks. Right? As Christians, we often have kind of half this verse down, but tend to forget the other half. We tend to grasp more readily that, Christ took our sin, but not so much that he imparted to us his righteous standing. Now, this isn't a transient standing based upon, whether or not we have a good day and we act perfectly, right? I mean, have you noticed that the way Paul begins his letters, right, even to a church like Corinth, who struggled with cliques, sexual sin, pride, and disorder in the church, right? He starts off by saying to the saints in Corinth. That literally means to the holy ones. And while the world would define the Corinthian Christians by their sin, Paul defines them by who they are because of Christ. They have a holy standing. In just about every other aspect of life, we act a certain way, and then we are given a status. But if I work really hard and I'm successful, then I'm given the status as a manager. Right? Yet as Christ followers, it's exactly the opposite. We are given a status through Christ by grace, and then we begin to live into that status through our actions. So as Christians, our actions don't give us our status leads us to acting differently. Right? Even in a court of law, there's something called double jeopardy, where someone cannot be tried for the same crime twice. And I wonder how many times we try ourselves for something that Christ has already paid for. We have been acquitted in the heavenly court because of Christ. And so now what's left is to joyfully embrace the gift of this grace that has been given to us. And so I'll leave you with this question: how are you looking to define yourself outside of the righteousness that Christ freely gives to you?